From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your evening update.
Dennis's Heating and Air Conditioning is Northern California's premier heating and air conditioning contractor. From residential housing, large commercial projects, installation to repair, sheet metal fabrication, and everything in between, we are your go-to heating and air conditioning specialist.
Well, you made it through the first day of the work week. Now we've got only 4 more days to go. But you know, we're actually going to start to see some changes in our pattern here from what we saw today. We got a cool and unsettled weather pattern this week. We saw a little bit of that this morning, but I do expect late tonight, early tomorrow morning to see the next round of rain and not to mention snow making its way here. Now, snow levels are going to average between 2,000 and 3,000 feet, and I do also expect at times to see breezy and windy conditions. We'll get into all of that as we look at Futurecast, but taking you through tonight and into tomorrow, the north coast will see the rain come in tonight and early tomorrow morning. That's also the case for inland and not to mention Trinity County. Now, I also expect eventually for the morning hours for the valley to see some of the showers, but it's going to be mainly in the morning hours, and then we get through the afternoon, should be fairly dry. Siskiyou County seeing some of the activity kind of off and on through the day as far as chances for scattered showers. That's also the case for the eastern mountains as well. As I mentioned, snow levels between 2,000 and 3,000 feet. Now, I think they'll rise a little bit here for tomorrow, around 3,000 feet, and then lower again to 2,000 feet by Wednesday. This is the colder storm system right here that I've got my eyes on. That right here, a couple of things. Number one, it's going to help to drop our temperatures down a bit. But number two, when we see these storm systems kind of ride to our north and down to the south and east, what happens is we see those winds begin to pick up. So some areas are going to start to see some gusty winds as early as tomorrow. As we go into Wednesday, it dives down to the south, and now we're seeing even stronger winds, and not to mention cooler air. And this is what's that support for those lower snow levels as we take you into Wednesday. Now I'm going to take you into Friday, and you can see the next system riding to our north. It's cold, but it's going to mainly, the coldest air will stay up to our north, but will also maybe help to pick up those winds a bit here, especially up to the north and to the east. So let's take a look at Precision Cast here, and what we're going to see here is that as we go into the overnight hours, again 2 a.m. on Tuesday, we're seeing the rain heaviest for Del Norte and Humboldt counties. It's also in the parts of northern Trinity and western Siskiyou County, but everyone else for the most part still dry. But again, we're talking late night. Most of us are asleep when all this is happening. Now I'm going to take you into the morning hours. You see how it breaks apart as it moves in closer to the valley. So the heavier rainfall for the coast breaks apart moving over the coastal range, and we see light showers in the early morning hours on Tuesday. So probably just dealing with some wet roads. You may need to give yourself a little bit of extra time getting the kids off to school or heading to work. We've also got those snow levels around 3,000 feet, so this will impact some of that mountain travel out there, especially east of I-5. There may be some minor problems, say around Mount Shasta City, and of course not to mention Highway 89. Taking it Tuesday, tomorrow, around 8 a.m., you see how it's already breaking apart? So it's mainly dry in the valley at this point, snow flurries in the mountains, a few scattered showers for the coast. Taking to the noon and afternoon hour, more flurries for the higher elevations, dry and clearing for the valley, and you can see along the coast, still some showers here. Now, let's take you into Wednesday. So this is late tomorrow night, early Wednesday morning at midnight. Heavy snow, as you can see here. This is when snow levels drop down to as low as 2,000 feet. Look at the heavy rainfall that we're seeing along the coast, but really not much going on in the valley. In fact, watch what happens as we take you into 5 a.m. Still the heavy rainfall for the north coast, not to mention Trinity County. Heavy snow in Siskiyou and Modoc County. Now, this is when I expect to probably see some problems on I-5 north of Redding on I-5 near Mount Shasta City. And, you know, maybe, just maybe around Buckhorn Summit as well. But that might be pushing it, quite honestly. Okay, then we go into 8 a.m. Wednesday. Yeah, some passing showers for the valley early Wednesday morning. But you can see it's not very heavy, and most of the activity we are seeing is in the mountains and mainly in the form of snow down to 2,000 feet. Now, we take into Wednesday afternoon, some more scattered snow flurries. Yeah, there may be a passing sprinkle, especially down to the south end of the valley on Wednesday, but overall, not a lot going on Wednesday for the valley, more scattered showers along the coast. Then we go into Wednesday night, kind of one little last push before we probably dry things out as we go into Thursday. So the rainfall estimates, as expected, heaviest along the coast. As you head eastward, you start seeing less and less in the way of at least measurable rainfall. Now, snow, Now, this is the thing. We were talking about the heavy snow, but you have to go above 4,000 or 5,000 feet before you start seeing that significant snow. So a lot of the mountain communities like Mount Shasta just won't see as much. This might be overdoing it, but 4 to 8 inches, I'd say kind of on the lower end there possibly. We might see a light dusting around, say, Weaverville and Hayfork, especially as we go into Wednesday. But there you can see Bernie, Chester, just not seeing as much. Upwards of around 2 to 4 inches there. That's also the case for Alturas and Susanville, about 1 to 2 inches. But that's going to have a low water equivalency. That is the very puffy snowflakes, and that's why it tends to be high. That just doesn't mean that there's a lot of water within that snow. Take a look at the winter storm impacts here for tomorrow. Now, what we're seeing here, yellow, a lot of yellows here, indicating that's going to be minor. Where you see moderate is places like, you can see Cedar Pass, for example, for tomorrow. And it looks like any other moderate areas doesn't look like it. So not a major problem on those roads for tomorrow. Just take note that there may be some chain requirements, especially east of I-5. But look at Wednesday. We're beginning to see overall a little bit more impact here. So we're beginning to see more orange on the map. So there'll be some minor to moderate impacts. Could we see some minor problems here on I-5? It's not out of the question. Maybe a brief period of some chain requirements around Mount Shasta City on Wednesday. But overall, this probably won't have quite the same impact that we saw on Saturday. All right, we take a look at Futurecast, and now we're going to take you into Thursday, Friday. You see how it's mainly dry. Then we go into Saturday. We've got the next storm system coming in, bringing us more rain. Now, this looks to be a little bit heavier in the way of snow for the mountains, and not to mention even some rain for the lower elevations. But by Sunday, Monday of next week, it's looking fairly dry, and then by Tuesday of next week, maybe another system coming in looks fairly weak, as most of the activity looks to be up to our north. All right, so let's change gears, talk about our wave heights. They're increasing as with the approaching storm system. Small craft advisories along the coast here. Those wave heights upwards of 20 feet. Now, we are expected to eventually see those wave heights drop slightly, but only by a few feet. So still fairly high wave heights, and still most likely that small craft advisory even into Wednesday. So there's your marine forecast. Winds from the northwest at 10 to 15 knots for your Tuesday. Waves from the west at 15 feet at 15 seconds, and from the west at 5 feet at about 16 seconds. Your high tide, your low tide, there's your sunrise and sunset, and there's that small craft advisory for tomorrow. And as I mentioned, that may be extended on into your Wednesday as well. So for tonight, we do have, of course, the showers beginning to move in, but probably sometime in the early morning hours for the valley. And of course, late night tonight, very early tomorrow morning off to the west, and eventually making its way eastward as well. Snow levels around 3,000 feet here for tomorrow. Here's your neighborhood forecast for Trinity County, and you can see, of course, we're seeing the off and on chances for rain all the way through Saturday, but we'll finally see a bit of that break here for Sunday. And also looking at the snow levels around 3,000 feet tomorrow, as I mentioned, 2,000 feet Wednesday. If we see anything Thursday, Friday, it's a very slim chance. It just depends on which forecast model you're looking at, quite honestly. And then it looks like on Saturday, some lower snow levels possibly. I'm seeing the models go back and forth on just how much colder that system will be on Saturday. For now, I've got it down to 1,000 feet, but there's a chance I may be putting that back up to around 2,000 or 3,000 feet over the next day or so. Let's take a look at your North Coast neighborhood forecast, and that's going to show us that we're seeing, of course, more showers here for tomorrow. Off and on chances for rain for Saturday for pretty much everyone. There, of course, you can see temperatures are going to be in the upper 40s to low 50s. Let's take you up north. Smith River about 52 degrees for Crescent City, 50 in Oric, and Trinidad a high of about 53 degrees. Here's your Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast. Temperatures in the mid to upper 30s for your Tuesday, so it's still going to be on the cool side. 3,000 foot snow level. So yeah, Mount Shasta City, a bit of a rain-snow mix. But as you head into Wednesday, better chance for some of that measurable snowfall, and then maybe, just maybe, down to about 1,000 feet on Saturday. Looking at your Modoc County for neighborhood forecast, there, of course, you can see those temperatures cold in the mid to even some upper 30s, but mainly in those mid 30s for those daytime highs. In your Eastern Mountains neighborhood forecast, Fall River Mills 36. 42 degrees in Susanville. There you can see Mineral about 37 degrees, and Paradise topping out at 44 degrees. Here's your Valley neighborhood forecast brought to you by Haas Farms. This is for the south end of the valley. Morning showers both Tuesday and Wednesday, and then by Thursday, Friday, we dry things out with a chance for more showers by Saturday. Looking at your north end of the valley here, of course, the AM showers the next few days for Red Bluff, dry for Thursday, Friday. It's not warming up a whole lot. In fact, a lot like what we saw today with temperatures upper 40s to maybe around 50 degrees for some of those warmer spots. Looking at your 7-day outlook for Redding, showers tomorrow morning, Wednesday morning, dry Thursday, Friday. But we do have that chance for more showers come Saturday.